Over the past couple of years, one of the biggest things and hardest things that we've been dealing with is keeping things alive. Now, you wouldn't think that it would be that hard. I mean, if you've ever just had a pet or raised an animal or simply grown something simple, it's not that difficult. But when you're trying to do it at scale, when you're trying to grow many things, there tends to be some issues. You can run into predator problems, which we've had many issues of.
So my trigger finger, I've got my weapon and I got my prayers. 'Cause if you don't,
we've lost roosters, we've lost entire batches of bunnies, an entire batch of ducklings, and it's been devastating. And when it comes to gardening, or when it comes to any of that, there are modern practices that modern farmers or modern agriculture will use, whether it's pesticides or herbicides for a garden. For us, we want things to be as natural as possible. As much as we can, we want to be able to work with the land, not against it. Chicken! Yeah. Yeah. Go on. And we firmly believe that God has given us everything that we need to be able to cultivate and to be able to do agriculture without external input, be it fertilizers, without pesticides, without herbicides, and without a lot of things that now is just commonplace, whether it be in chicken feed, antibiotics, whether it be just chemical fertilizers that we'll be putting on our garden. I want to do it all naturally. I want to have natural compost. I want to have as many natural things, or do as many natural things as we can. So that being said, weeding is kind of an issue. And yes, you may be screaming at me saying that you can just mulch. Mulch will take care of that, you won't have to worry about it. And yes, that is true, but not entirely. See, we've mulched here with our beans and stuff, and the mulch blows over, and it still requires maintenance. There's nothing really that you can do that'll require no maintenance, so still, you need to go in and pull out these stupid weeds. These guys right here, these like big ones, are the worst. I don't know why, but they take over. They're everywhere in the garden. They're a huge pain in the butt. And they just, you can never seem to get rid of it. Now, do I want to be weeding? Of course not. I'm lazy.
This family's getting so lazy.
But it kind of requires it, and although we do things to try to mitigate it as best we can, like with this straw and stuff, it's still gonna grow up. It's still gonna be a pain in the butt, but that just makes it feel so much better when you do grow something, finally. Now, not everything that looks like a weed or everybody calls a weed is necessarily a weed. We were recently featured on the news to talk about a weed that you might commonly know as a dandelion.
Good morning, Ben. Thanks so much for joining us here this morning.
Good morning, Eilish. It's a little chilly this morning, but I'm excited to talk about these little flowers.
Listen, I apologize having you outside. We appreciate the efforts, though. We'll hopefully get through this quickly so that you can get back in and get warmed up. Before we do get to those dandelions, though, I do want to just give a quick little shout out to your recently expanded family. We've got some photos of Mr. Ezra, who made his way into the world not too long ago. Tell me how the family is doing.
Oh goodness, he is 2 weeks old, so of course he's a handful. My wife Nicole is inside taking care of both him and Sawyer, our 4-year-old. So I'm expecting a nice warm coffee when I go inside. Maybe. We'll see. Got her hands full in there.
I was going to say, maybe you can make the coffee, and maybe it'll be dandelion coffee. So, okay, let's jump into it, because I think I need some of the nutritional facts behind these little balls of sunshine. I think that's the only way that you're going to convince me to maybe eat some of these flowers. Tell me about them.
Yeah, so I was introduced to dandelions, goodness, I think probably 10 years ago as sort of a dandelion fruit coffee. And that's, I think, how most people know about dandelions, whereas they think about them as a food anyway. But otherwise, you just see them in your yard and you want to get rid of them. But people have been, in the last couple of years, hearing about No Mow May. And now we've got these little yellow flowers. People are looking at getting out and foraging a little more. So these little things were actually brought over from Europe. They're not native to North America, believe it or not, but they are full of vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin K, and they've got a ton of benefits, whether you're gonna soak it in oil or you can do a ton of different things with them.
Okay, let's get into some of those different things. You've made dandelion coffee, dandelion honey. I think you have some of that there in front of you right now, and we're gonna see some shots of it here. What have you explored, and is it tasty? I think that's the biggest question everybody wants to know. What does it taste like?
Yeah, so I was super surprised. First getting into it, I mean, I'm a coffee lover, so I'm always going to be partial to the bitter, beautiful flavor of natural Arabica coffee. But what we've been getting into the last couple of years is bees, and having our own honey is amazing. But of course, in the springtime, they're making it because they just ate all of their honey over the fall and winter. So we tried to harvest some, put in a little sugar, and this right here, and I think you see some shots there as well, is my dandelion honey. Some people don't like calling it dandelion honey, you call it dandelion syrup, because it's just sugar, dandelions, and water. And what I'm gonna do with that is turn it into a little dandelion mead. I'm experimenting with brewing different things and fermenting some stuff, and there's a ton of different things that you can do with them. You can soak them in oil, use it as a salve, use it for coconut oil. There's so many different benefits, as vitamin C is an antioxidant. It's great for your skin, great for your health overall.
Interesting. Okay, I don't know that I'm convinced yet, because I remember as a kid going out, playing, pulling the dandelions, giving them to mom, and then if you just happen, I'm a nail biter, so if you just happen to touch it, very bitter in taste. Do you have that same kind of flavor, or can you change the flavor up of it?
Yeah, so just like anything, whether you're cooking or preparing, you can change a flavor, whether you're using salt, whether you're using a little bit of sugar. That's why this is a 1-to-1 syrup with added sugar. And it just makes the dandelions taste almost identical to honey. Like, honestly, it is comparable to the honey that we get from our bees. But what Nicole also did last year, which was a weird introduction, she just made me try some. She said, here, put this in your mouth. And I tried it because I trust her, of course. And it was a deep fried dandelion. And I was really surprised that it was really good. It wasn't too bitter. It had a really interesting flavor. So if that's something people are looking into trying, that's an option as well.
Interesting. Okay, anything deep fried, you may have me hooked. That might be the one that gets me to try it. Is there anything else that you guys have kind of experimented with? Anything you're looking to try with your dandelions?
Yeah, so we're trying to forage as many things as we can. Even last night, I was working on getting some spruce tips and different evergreen tips, which this time of year are really great. And again, full of vitamin C. So we're working on some teas, some different things that we can just add these dandelions in, because they have amazing health benefits. And instead of jumping to things, people know that oranges and citrus fruits are full of vitamin C. But if you have something in your yard that's free with the price of groceries going up, you may as well pick a few dandelions if you got the time.
That's a good way to get people hooked as well too. Listen, I know you guys have the show between yourself and Nicole as well too, who might be a little busy doing the mom thing right now, but where can folks find more about, your dandelion adventure and follow your homesteading journey?
Yeah, go to homegrownshow.ca, or if you are a member of Abundance Plus or have a Roku device, you can watch us there. But yeah, go to homegrownshow.ca and you can check out everything that we've got going on, from ducks to chickens to, oh goodness, it is a funny farm these days.
And a new baby. So get yourself inside, go get warmed up, and then take over baby duties so that Nicole can get some rest.
The dandelions, the entire thing from the root to the flower, are edible, and we've dehydrated some. We're going to keep them for teas and for winter time. We've made a dandelion syrup and different things with them. And dandelions are classified as a weed, but they're actually really good for you. High in vitamin C and vitamin A, and even the roots, which I was first introduced to dandelions as, was used as a coffee substitute.
There is no substitute.
So not all weeds are necessarily bad. There are some things like this wild mint that is beautiful that I've been harvesting and eating a little bit of, putting in teas and stuff. So that is kind of nice because I was able to find that in the garden, but I don't want it growing in the garden. It's invasive. It's kind of taking over here and I don't want that. I want to grow our beans and our corns and our onions here instead. So mint can stay on the outskirts and everything else will stay right there.
The way the story goes, two kids found love. We didn't take it slow. I knew you were the one. It wasn't void of tears and fears or hurt, but the kind of love that never gives up. I never knew what love was until I saw you through.
As I believe I've said before,
What's on your face?
one of my things that I'm most excited about is being able to grow broccoli, cauliflower. I think this is a cabbage here. We've never successfully been able to grow them, so I want to be able to, hence the row cover that's over me right now. So I'm just going through, we've reseeded some of these guys.
Doesn't that feel nice?
And I think some of the little babies are coming up, but they're hard to find in amongst the weeds, unfortunately. So I'm trying to go through as best I can and trying to pick out what I know are not broccoli, cauliflower, kale, and then see if they're actually, oh, there's one, see? And there's one. So they have started to come up. We need to protect them. Protect them at all costs. And I look weird under here, hiding under the row cover. Like a weirdo. But we are dealing with some pesky weeds, this grass, because we just tilled this in. Grass is our kind of worst enemy in here right now.
I've been sitting wondering in my bedroom how to move along and by my day.
Goodbye, weeds.
I've been low-key for a while from over emotions. Gotta go and smell the air and find a way. Can we just dance?
Not many of these seeds that I put in appear to have sprouted, which is very sad. Or maybe they might just be taking longer than usual. That's a possibility too. Is there a hole in my pants? There better not be a hole in my pants. Y'all better not be looking.
I'm not trying to run, just need some fresh vibes coming my way. Come my way.
I didn't see a lot of them, but I saw some, which is encouraging. We have friends that say that the best way to grow stuff like this is just to set it and forget it. Just leave it alone. I think I might do that, because raising that row cover every time and trying to put it back down, huge pain in the butt. So we're just gonna leave it alone. I'll take care of everything else. In here, I can pull some weeds, take care of these little fellers. That's a lot easier. Another thing that we noticed is that some of these are planted too close together. They've started to come up, so I'm just gonna move them to somewhere else, because they are growing good, but they're just too close. There's another one, another set, oh, down here, of these three, which these three are definitely too close together, so we will take two of these guys. There we go. We'll take these three, we'll move them to another spot in the garden where there's not many. How about right here? This looks good. Pop that guy in right there. Oh, those guys are way too close. Look at these two. Let's pull this weed and then move this guy. Actually, what I might do is I'll take some of these and we'll move them to another garden entirely where they should be a little happier. Maybe. Eeny, meeny, miny. This little guy too. Take them up to our little cucumber patch. I'm not entirely sure that these are cucumber. Probably not, actually, but it's fine. we'll move them nonetheless. Whatever was growing here seems to have died. So we'll pop a new guy in. Put this back on top. And then same thing right here. There we go. That guy's doing okay. This guy's a little sad, but surviving. That guy's very sad.